Hey everybody, I'm coming on here to share a testimony, and this has been on my mind for a little minute, and not that long, probably since like last week. A testimony I wanted to share about something that happened in my childhood that I noticed probably have stemmed from my childhood of issues that I had growing up, or just remembering that this has something to do with the topic I want to talk about. So, Um, this testimony is about when I was a child and I was in school, and the teacher, I don't know exactly what she said, and it actually wasn't the teacher, it was like the person that comes in while the teacher is away, like the lunch aide or the teacher's assistant. I really don't remember her title, but I know she wasn't the main teacher. So she told us, the teacher told us to do an assignment. I think she stepped out, and then the assistant or the lunch aide or whoever she was assigned to be at that school was telling us to finish our project, like finish our coloring page, like make up something on our page and color it and make sure it's done before we can go outside. So I was doing that. I was doing so, but I took a little quite longer because in my head I've always been like this. Like I like things perfect. I like things looking a certain way. Um, I like things to look right. I don't like to rush something and it don't look right. And yeah. So there was a little girl next to me. Now, just keep in mind, just listen to everything I'm saying. Just take it in. Her canvas was done. So I drew like a little person, or whatever I drew was like a little figure in the middle of my page, but nothing was really done on the outside, just on the outside of the picture. It was just plain. But I focused mainly on the little character that I drew in the middle of the picture, in the middle of the page. Her picture, her canvas was done, like the outside of it. She was like rushing and stuff. Like the outside of her picture was done, but the middle of the picture, it was not done. So I'm just focusing. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I remember vividly like trying to come up with something and do something and think of something creative because I'm a creative. So the little girl that's on my left goes to look at my page and she starts copying my figure. So I'm like, stop copying me. Like, what are you doing? You know, do your own thing. And then she started like she wasn't listening. She was like being just very, I don't know what the word, belligerent about it, like just very just forceful about it, like looking at my page like this, like just looking and copying. And I'm like, teacher, she's it was, and then this is about around the time it was time to line up and go outside, but I was not done. And the teacher specifically said, if you're not done with your assignment, you cannot go outside. So I'm already like a little heated that I can't go outside. Like I'm kind of upset because I wasn't done. And then I told the teacher, like I believe right before it was time to line up, she was looking at everybody's page and telling them to go in the line. So when it got to her, around her, I'm like, excuse me, she's copying my figure. She's copying my page. And then the lunch lady or teacher assistant was like, she's copying you. No, she said, well, why is she done before you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I know she, mom had, she copied my picture. She was like, why is she done before you? And then she let her get in line and go outside. I ain't gonna lie, I was hurt. Like, I was like, she get to go outside and she copied my picture and I gotta stay here and finish this. My little feelings was hurt. But I couldn't go outside. I think it was me and another individual. Um, we stayed in class and we finished our picture. But keep in mind, hers was all rushed and stuff. I still had to do my assignment. So she comes back in, and I was still like, my feelings was hurt because I'm like, the teacher didn't even ask, like, hey, did you copy her picture? All she did was say, why is she done before you? Just because her canvas was done before mine doesn't mean she didn't copy something from what I was doing. And keep that in mind. people and then and that's I think that's what hurt me the most at that time as a child. She did not ask me, she did not ask the other little girl, she didn't even bother to ask. She just said, why is she done before you? She didn't say, hey, little girl, hey, such such, did you copy her picture? She did no investigating. She just looked and kept it moving. So I thought about something, and I thought about this when I was thinking about this testimony a few days ago, actually, the actual testimony. Um, this part I was thinking about, even though she copied me, I wasn't done with the assignment. I was hurt that she took my idea, and quite a few people have done that growing up, like taking stuff, copying stuff, writing stuff down, or saying an idea. Although she took my idea, it still came from me. So I was thinking, I was writing this down. I wrote this down Sunday. I wrote this down in my notes Sunday. I said, last night I sat and thought about where my creativity comes from. I get all my ideas and creativity from the Lord. I started to cry and tell God how awesome He is. I was thinking, even if someone stole any of my ideas or anything like that, I serve a creator that will give me more ideas regarding anything I enjoy. And that is so true because, in life, people, I've just witnessed people just blankly just take. And I'll be like, well, I said that. Or they'll say little sayings I say, and it didn't too much bother me. I just thought it was like, is that your way of getting at me? Like, it depends on the individual and people and situation. It's like, oh, okay. So now I really, I noticed that growing up, and I noticed that like even now, just I get my ideas from my maker. I get my ideas from the God I serve. And the God I serve is the creator of heaven and earth. He created me. He created everything. So I was just so happy that I wrote that down, and I was joyous because I know if even if somebody steals all my ideas in life, whatever it is, I know that I can go back to the page. I will never run out of ideas because that's what God has blessed me with. My creativity will never, I will never get tired of creating because that's what I love to do, and that's what I do. Like, I'm in my mom a creative. I love, like I said, love to sing and writing and all that fun stuff, and whatever it is, whatever the situation is, game, whatever it is, games and all that. But I like to come up with stuff, or I like to do creative things. And I just have to know, like, in life, people are going to do that. And whether they are, people say, oh, it's a compliment. I don't know the saying offhand, but it's a compliment. You should be happy. It's a compliment somebody steals your ideas. Not necessarily. I understand people, some people don't know better, or they look up to people. That's a little different because you don't know better. But when somebody takes, like, just full on your identity, oh, not identity, Lord, but hey, your identity, when somebody takes on your ideas, something you specifically wrote down or came up with or created, whether it be fashion, whether it be something in ministry, whether it be something at work, whatever it is, and they take it as theirs, then that to me is like a nudge in the face. That's like a punch in the face to me, because you are taking something that is not yours and putting your name on it. So that's what I wanted to share. Like, we are all creative, and creatives out there, I learned not to get frustrated. It's frustrating, it depends on what the situation is. But over the years, I learned not to get frustrated because I know the calling on my life, and I know people are going to look up to me and things of that nature. So I learned not to be offended, but if it's regarding something that you did, you definitely can call it out because it's yours. And even if nobody believes you or anything like that, the Lord knows. The Lord knows everything, and how whatever somebody's doing and calling it their own. It's one thing to say, "Hey, this was inspired by this person. This was inspired by this individual." That's different. Mind you, like I said on here, I even shared a testimony about my sister in Christ. Um, about the hot and cold, no, what she say, taking your temperature and all that. So you always are supposed to mention where you get it from. Like in college, you're supposed to cite your sources, and you're supposed to cite where you got it from. So when people just blankly just say, "Yeah," take something of yours and say, "Yeah, that's mine. That's wrong." But like I said, I've learned over the years not to get upset like I used to when I was younger. Just be like, you know what? It's a term. It is a. That's what it is. Term of endearment. It's a term of endearment to an extent. I that I, it's kind of annoying because it's like you work hard and you take all this time to come up with these things, and you take all these hours and you set time aside to come up with whatever you're doing, and for somebody to take it as their own and not cite you as a source and not say, "Hey, I got it from this person." Or even let you know like beforehand, like, "Hey, I didn't have the material. Do you mind? I'm gonna shout you out." Ask permission. Don't just be like, you know, "Hey, this is mine. I came up with this." That's not being honest. That's actually lying. But that's just what I wanted to share. And I wanted to let you know, like, even in the midst of her getting to go outside, I felt like she got a prize for something she stole from me. And people do get prizes from things that they steal from people, like ideas and whatever it is, helping somebody, whatever it is. I learned not to get upset over it because God will reward me. He sees everything I do. He knows what's on my mind. He knows what's on other individuals' minds. He will reward me how he sees fit. So I don't have to worry about anything like that. There's nothing wrong with calling something out, but I don't have to worry about rewards. Like I said, she did get rewarded, but I wasn't done with the assignment and I didn't want to rush it. I wanted to take my time. That's just something to think about. So if somebody is taking from you, don't be like, you is doing too. It's annoying. I'm not saying like don't call nothing out. Ain't hey, but you're called to be different. You're gonna stand out. People are gonna look like your ideas. Just think of it as, this is how I think of it. This is just like, okay, they're taking this. I have great ideas. I just learned not to take everything to heart. Like, especially in ministry, we're dealing with spiritual warfare. So, yeah. But I just wanted to share that testimony that even though others may get rewards for what they do, and regarding something that has nothing to do with them or something that they've stolen in the natural, God will know. He will handle the situation. So that's what I wanted to share. And I pray that y'all are continuing to be creative, and don't let anybody stop you from being creative. Don't let anybody stop you from sharing the good news and sharing your ideas and sharing anything. Don't let anybody stop you from that. And don't give up. So that's all I wanted to say. And I pray that y'all are having a blessed day. Be safe out here. And until next time.